Hello, this is Alex at the stadium. Today is Saturday, June 6th, 2020, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about some Warhammer. As recently announced was the new ninth edition of Warhammer 40k, and we've learned some details about that. We've seen some of the core rules changes, like for it, just as an example. Tanks can now fire at things when they're like surrounded by a bunch of little guys and stuff. When normally a current normal strategy is to take some cannon fodder or whatever, throw them up against the tanks, and now they can't do their big giant tank shots. But that'll change in the new edition, amongst many other things. I haven't read all the changes yet, and to be honest, I don't play enough Warhammer to have everything memorized. So there's so many things. But my understanding is that, and from what I've seen, is that this will not be a huge departure from 8th edition overall, but there are some somewhat significant changes in the smaller details. Since that announcement, there's been a further announcement announcing for 9th edition matched play, and these storyline sort of rules that if you've played Warhammer 40k Kill Team will feel very familiar. There's different missions and things you can do, and with sub goals and missions, and a victory point system that you'll use in order to do things. Some of these missions will have special actions that you can do. Normally, you can only do your regular combat stuff, right? But the special actions, maybe you have to perform a ritual, maybe you have to, disarm some bomb, all sorts of stuff like that. So there's a lot of special actions that will be available in these matched play games that are very, very focused on telling a story through the gameplay of Warhammer. Now, I've got a shelf of some stuff here. I want to mention that, as is true of any time there's a new edition of Warhammer 40k, all of your miniatures and stuff like that do not, they don't go away. Just because it's a new edition, you could still, that doesn't mean you can't use your old stuff. So, if you've got all these 8th edition, Space Marine things, or maybe especially if it's Space Marines, you've got stuff from the 80s, you could still use all of those miniatures. And you'll just need to buy a new book. And the other thing that they announced, that to me this is really exciting, because even though obviously Warhammer is this huge multimedia franchise, video games, all sorts of things, I've always felt that Games Workshop has kind of been sort of, at least for a long time, stuck in some ways in the past. And they are going to release, along with the 9th edition, a new mobile app that will let you, they haven't announced everything it can do yet, but it will allow you to use it as a team builder, and you can look at all of your resources for all of your units on your team and all of those kinds of things. And it will have a lot of other features that they are keeping very tight lips on. It will not tell anyone what they are yet. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it means that they need to develop some features. I don't know. But one thing I'd really like for it to see, one thing I'd really like to see for it is I'd really like for it to have. They currently have the Citadel Color painting app. And you can look at color schemes that are like canonical for different figures. So the different kinds of Space Marines, Chaos Marines, whatever. All those different things, all the different Marines, because there's a lot. So you can pull those up into the color schemes, and it'll kind of tell you, all right, this area you use this paint, this area you use this paint, do this, then this. It's a pretty basic system. What I'd love to see in the app is to kind of combine those things and give more detail, because while I have been getting more into miniature painting, I am still terrible, I think, at it. I'm better than I was when I started, but I'm not an artistic person. And so I really struggle to come up with anything creative about color schemes and stuff like that. So I typically will stick to what is pretty standard fare. But I'd love to see on this app help for painting and basing and stuff like that for these, especially since they're really trying to push this story-driven mode of play with Ninth Edition. I'd like to see this something to help with world building and stuff like that for scenery, for miniatures, for just everything for the table presence, for the whole experience from buying the miniatures to painting them, to getting stuff visually ready, to when not only just setting up the play and watching it, but also in how you play it. I'm pretty excited to try a lot of these things, and I have high hopes for them because from what I can tell with some of the conversations I've had with people at Games Workshop, I talked to a number of people at the Gamma Expo back in March. I mean, they wouldn't tell me anything about Ninth Edition, but just about the direction of the company and what they've been working on and initiatives they've been doing to make the game more accessible and kind of really set up their more long-term thing other than just, oh, everyone knows what Space Marines are. And, all these books and all these stories, because so many people love the books, but they've maybe never played a game. And I think that their heads are in the right place, and I am looking forward to seeing what else they can do. So what I want to know is, what are you really hoping for from Ninth Edition, as well as for, I'm sorry for the shaky camera, I am shaking my leg and I just noticed how much it's moving. So what you're looking for in the Ninth Edition, as well as specifically from the Warhammer app that they are developing. That's me for today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of your day.